Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, pull out the key insights, and help you get informed, fast.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into commercial gym equipment. Specifically, we're looking at source material you shared, which is basically a snapshot of the Muscle D Fitness website.
Exactly. So think of it like we're looking at how this one company, Muscle D Fitness, presents itself. Its products, its services, what it promises people who might buy from them.
Right, whether that's a big gym owner or maybe someone setting up a serious home gym.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal here, our mission for this deep dive is to kind of unpack what they're all about. Look at their main selling points, see how their equipment lines back that up, check out their services, and get a sense of what their customer reviews say, at least the ones presented here.
Yeah, so by the end, you should have a pretty clear picture of Muscle D Fitness based just on this material we have.
Okay, so where do we start? How do they position themselves in the source?
Well, right off the bat, they make some pretty big claims. The source says they're trusted by 150,000 plus gym owners, trainers, and celebrities.
Wow.
And chosen by 10,000 plus fitness businesses for quality. Plus, they mentioned building hundreds of successful gyms.
Those are some hefty numbers. Definitely sets a high expectation
Right.
about their reach and, well, quality.
It does. It suggests they're a major player.
So how does the source suggest they back that up? What's the substance?
Well, it seems like a big part of it is just the sheer range of equipment they offer. The source lays it out in the typical categories you'd expect: selectorized, leverage, free weight, cardio, racks and benches, and accessories and cable attachments.
Okay, let's pause on those first two. Selectorize and leverage. For anyone maybe less familiar, what's the core difference? And why list so many different lines under them?
Good question. Selectorized machines, those are typically the ones with the weight stack, and you stick a pin in to choose the weight. They're often seen as, pretty user-friendly, good for isolating muscles.
Got it. Pin and stack.
Right. Leverage equipment, on the other hand, uses weight plates that you load onto a lever arm. It often tries to mimic free weight movements, but in a guided way. People like them for lifting heavy, sometimes a different feel.
Okay. Plates on an arm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And under selectorized, they list. Wow. Megatron, Elite Plus, Elite, Vogue, Excel, Dual Function, Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And for leverage, Pro Strength, Power Leverage, V2, Excel, Elite, Power Leverage. That's a lot of lines.
It really is. And what's kind of interesting is the source also mentions they list products from other big names like Life Fitness and Precor in some categories.
Oh, okay. So they're not just selling their own Muscle D branded stuff.
It seems that way. It suggests they're trying to be more of maybe a broader supplier, a one-stop shop kind of idea.
Right, a comprehensive source. So beyond those main machine types, the source goes into detail, listing specific machines for pretty much every body part, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Core, back, biceps, chest, shoulders, triceps. The works for upper body.
And lower body, too. Squats, leg press, glutes.
Yep, leg extensions, curls, inner outer thigh, calves. It's all there. All the standard isolation stuff, plus compound movement machines.
And it's not just single-station machines, right?
Yeah.
They mentioned functional trainers, cable crossovers.
Exactly. Jungle gyms, multi-gyms, those all-in-one systems, too. It covers a huge range.
And then there's all the other stuff a gym needs. Flooring, weights.
Right. Rubber flooring, different types of plates, Olympic, bumper plates, and then all the bars. T-group bars, bushing bearings, specialty ones, fixed barbells.
Somebody bars.
And dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls, slam balls, the essentials. Plus storage for all of it, resistance bands.
Storage is key.
Definitely. They even mentioned offering kits like bundles of cable attachments or storage kits, bar and weight packages. It really reinforces that one-stop shop idea you mentioned.
Okay, this is interesting. The source highlights specific lines, like Megatron multifunction equipment and Elite Plus selectorized equipment. Makes you think these are maybe their flagship or newer lines.
Could be. And the Power Leverage V2 line seems especially highlighted. The source actually gives specific examples from this line and lists sale prices and regular prices.
Oh, that gives us a real clue about their pricing, at least for those featured items.
Exactly. Like they list a Power Leverage V2 isolateral 45-degree leg press, sale price just under $4,000, down from over $4,500.
Okay.
Or their seated leg curl and leg extension in that line, both around $3,000 on sale.
So not entry-level pricing, but maybe competitive for that type of leverage equipment.
Seems like it. And they show more specialized V2 stuff too, like a reverse hyper belt squat, pendulum squat. Example, sale prices are like high 2000s to low 3000s.
Listing those specific machines with prices really gives you a concrete idea of what they're pushing and what that level of equipment costs.
Yeah, it provides a tangible look at the investment for their maybe premium leverage gear.
Okay, so huge inventory, multiple brands, specific lines highlighted. What about the experience? The source must talk about buying from them the services. That's where the value prop really comes through, beyond just a lovely stuff.
Totally. And they seem to push efficiency and convenience hard. They talk about fast lead time,
Right.
using phrases like ready to ship and that shop, click, boom, your fitness machine arrives before you even realize it kind of thing.
Ah, okay. Trying to sound quick,
Yeah.
which is important for businesses, right? You need gear fast sometimes.
Definitely. They also mention an optional professional assembly service for stress-free setup. That's a big deal for complex commercial machines. You don't want your staff spending days figuring it out.
No kidding. And they stress secure payment, which is standard, but good they mention it. Buyer confidence.
Right. And then there's customer service. They promise support that never skips a rep.
Cute. Tying it back to fitness language.
Yeah. And they also list things clearly aimed at businesses. Bulk order discounts, financing options, info for dealers. It shows they're really catering to that commercial market.
So it's not just selling machines, it's the whole package for a business.
Mhm.
Do they offer other resources?
Yeah, it looks like it. The source mentions Muscle D blogs with titles like Building Your Ultimate Home Gym, which is interesting.
Daring to that market too then.
Seems like it. And another one, Everyone Can Be Muscled, Strength is for Everybody. Also insights on specific popular machines, like hip thrusts and glute machines. Plus, links to warranty info, service forms, freight policy, FAQ, the usual support stuff.
That blog title, Everyone Can Be Muscled, and the quote you mentioned at Muscle D Fitness, we believe that strength is for everybody.
That
And-
sounds like they're trying to project a certain philosophy, right?
Yeah, definitely an inclusive message. Positioning strength training, and by extension their equipment, as something for, well, everyone, not just elite athletes. Makes sense from a branding perspective.
Yeah.
Now, what about the practical stuff? Like if you actually wanted to contact them or visit?
The source gives clear details. 2 locations in California Paramount and Huntington Beach, though Huntington Beach is by appointment only.
Okay. Standard business hours, Pacific time.
Yep, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And they list a phone number and email. Pretty straightforward.
And payments?
Wide range accepted. All the major cards, plus digital options like Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, Shop Pay, Venmo. Looks like they make it easy to pay however you prefer.
Okay, let's talk customer experience as shown in the source. They have a review section, right? Let customers speak for us.
They do. And it gives a breakdown of 28 reviews.
What's the breakdown look like?
It's heavily positive based on the percentages shown. 79% are 5-star, 11% are 4-star.
So 90% are 4 or 5 stars. That's high.
Very high. And they pull out specific quotes from Google reviews. People saying staff were very cool and super nice. Equipment is great. Service was excellent. They answered all of my questions, helped find exactly what was needed. All very positive snippets.
Okay, so the source highlights the good stuff, which makes sense from their perspective. But what about the rest of the breakdown?
Well, that's the interesting part. It shows 0% for 3-star and 2-star reviews, but then 11% are 1-star.
So mostly great, but then a noticeable chunk at the very bottom.
Exactly. And while the source doesn't give us details on why those 1-star reviews exist, just showing that percentage is quite transparent in a way, it acknowledges implicitly that not every single experience was perfect, even if they focus on the positive quotes.
Right. It's something you, as a potential buyer looking at this source, would definitely note. We can only report what's in the source, which is the breakdown and the positive quotes.
Precisely. It gives a picture, but maybe not the full detailed story of every single review.
Fair enough. One last thing mentioned is a clearance section, always popular.
Yep, a place to potentially find deals. And the source lists a bunch of categories within clearance: general stuff, benches, free weights, storage, even a local pickup blowout.
And does the clearance include those other brands they sell, like Life Fitness and Precor?
It does. It lists Life Fitness products and Precor Discovery Series specifically under clearance categories.
Okay, so that fits the model again. They sell it, they clear it out too.
Right. And they also break down clearance by their own lines, like dual function, classic, power leverage. It seems like a way to manage inventory across their whole range.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive on the Muscle D Fitness source material up. What have we really seen?
Well, we've seen they present themselves as a really comprehensive, seemingly trusted supplier of commercial-grade gym gear.
Yeah, emphasizing a huge inventory of their own lines plus other big brands. A real breadth of offering.
And they really highlight speed, convenience thinking about that assembly service, and strong customer support as
Hmm.
core parts of their value. Plus, those business-friendly options like financing.
Right. And the customer review section, as presented, paints a mostly very positive picture with those high ratings in quotes. But that 11% one-star figure is there in the data provided.
So this deep dive hopefully gives you a clear, structured view of how Muscle D Fitness presents itself, its products, and its services based purely on the snapshot source we analyzed. It gives you that foundational understanding of this specific supplier.
It definitely paints a picture of a company trying to cover all the bases for gym owners.
Which leads to a final thought. With such a staggering variety of equipment listed, dozens of specific machines for every muscle group, different lines, different functionalities, how does someone, whether it's a gym owner or even a serious home gym builder, realistically navigate that enormous catalog? How do they choose the perfect mix that fits their space, their budget, and, crucially, will actually serve their users or their own goals best without getting lost in all the options?